Hey, do you ever feel like you've been cursed with this thing called insecurity, and because of it, it's nearly impossible to enjoy life to the fullest? Whether it's lack of money, or social skills, or good looks, insecurity is right there as a reminder that you don't deserve to relax or feel good about yourself. It's like a weight you're constantly carrying around your neck that forces you to walk through life with your head down. Now, as someone who's been through that for a very long time and who managed to step out of that slump, I'm here to tell you that the problem is not insecurity, it's the way you approach it. Because as you'll find out in the next few minutes, insecurity is not a curse, but a blessing, a valuable and powerful gift that very few people know how to make use of to elevate their life rather than ruin it. And if you don't believe me, take Stephen Bartlett's example. He's an 8-figure entrepreneur and the host of one of the most popular podcasts out there. But as you can imagine, it wasn't always like this. Because as he was growing up, he was constantly ashamed of his circumstances. I mean, he was poor, his place was a mess, which is why he never told his friends where he actually lived. And to make things worse, his school teachers always bullied him. "Steven, you're never going to make it, give up already." That's what he used to hear every single week. So naturally, it became his mission to escape that struggle and prove everyone wrong. And against all odds, he did it. He managed to rise above anyone else. Now, he attributes a tremendous part of his success specifically to that insecurity which he developed early on. He saw it as his secret, unique weapon that was gonna give him the edge over others. And you can do it too. Starting today, you can use insecurity to begin your ascent towards places you can't even imagine right now. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how. Alright, first things first. Insecurity is a gift of motivation. Look, if you're watching self-improvement videos, surely you wanna get better in some way, shape or form. So let me ask you this. Have you ever daydreamed about being successful and having everything you wanted? Or better yet, have you ever envied someone else's lifestyle or personality or whatever, but failed to even take the first step towards that place because of insecurity? Like, oh, I don't know if I have what it takes to be like him, or I'm too blank to get there myself. If you did, again, the problem is not insecurity, it's the perspective or the mental frame that you unconsciously adopted. Like I said, insecurity is a gift, it's a blessing of motivation, and you're just one mindset shift away, or better said, one split-second decision away from finding this yourself. Because there are only two ways of approaching such situation. The first one is where you let insecurity consume you. Think of it this way. If you get in a car and you choose to stay in the passenger seat, then you have no control over where you're going or how quick you're moving. Or maybe you're not moving at all, like you don't have the keys, so you can't even start the engine, right? The same thing happens if you let insecurity control your life and take all the decisions for you. Statements like, "I don't have what it takes" or "I'm not good enough to do this" are pretty good indicators that you're not really the one in charge, but a mere passenger in your own life journey. And the tricky thing is that most of the times you're not gonna catch yourself thinking or saying these things, but they're still constantly running in the back of your mind, and they're the sole reason for your procrastination, hesitation, and even avoidance of what's good for you. Now, the second and better way of approaching insecurity is moving to the driver's seat. Taking control and using it as a vehicle to get to where you want in life. You can see it as fuel for your motivation, and trust me, it's one of the strongest there are. And honestly, I really believe that people with strong insecurities are likely to get further ahead in life compared to those who don't have them. And it's precisely because of this motivation that they get access to. Alright, you probably get it. Insecurity is a great source of motivation. But how does it actually work? And more importantly, how can you make use of it to become more motivated than you've ever been? Well, here's how it works. Insecurity forces you to operate from a place of lack, where it feels like you're not whole, like there's something wrong with you, like there's a missing piece you haven't been able to find until now. And unless you're perfectly fine living with that, unless you actually enjoy feeling incomplete for some reason, you'll naturally crave to find that missing piece and escape the struggle. I mean, what better way of getting motivation than to fix such problems and get away from the negative emotions, right? Now, in your pursuit to fill the void, maybe you won't realize it, but you'll get better and better at stuff. You'll climb higher and higher on life's staircase. Starting with small little things like watching self-improvement videos or managing your time effectively, to the more complex ones like perfecting your skills or creating something of your own. And I've gotta say, it's highly addictive. Once you're in on this self-improvement journey, it's almost impossible to get out. That's why I say insecurity is a gift, because it can literally put you on this journey in a matter of seconds, and you might just stay on track for the rest of your life. I'm saying this without any seed of doubt. If you're ready to replace the "I'm broken, so why even bother trying" with the "I'm broken and that's exactly why I have to do something about it," then insecurity will change your life. Alright, secondly, insecurity is a gift of kindness. This might be no surprise, but the kindest people are always the ones who've suffered the most, those who've had it the hardest. I mean, think about the jerks who constantly judge and make fun of others, who don't care about anyone else, and aren't willing to even lift a finger to help. Do you think they know how it feels to be inferior, to struggle and to wake up every day with this mental overwhelm caused by insecurity? Of course not. Because here's the thing, in order to truly understand another person, you have to go through their struggles. And when you do finally realize how they feel like, you suddenly become kinder and more understanding towards people in similar situations. You relate with them. You might even see yourself in them, you know? There's an invisible bond or connection that's formed there. And as an example, I like to think about a specific meme. Maybe you've seen it before. Is that meme with the big guy in the gym, whose appearance is like a lion, you know, he's jacked, he looks scary and intimidating, but his personality is like a little kitten, you know, he's literally the most peaceful guy out there. And it's so true, that really is the case most of the times. Why? Because to get there, that guy has probably been through a lot, you know, he's probably been through a few failures in school, career or relationships, which damaged his self-esteem and made him feel inferior or even worthless. And that was the turning point, because instead of accepting the situation, he used that insecurity as fuel to put in the work every single week. He trained hard in the gym to build his dream body, hoping that would give him some confidence and fill some of that void inside. This is basically the first point of the video. Insecurity is a gift of motivation. He used that motivation to do the exact things that would get him up on his feet. Now, after being in the gym for over 2 years, I can tell you that most people are like that. Doesn't matter how big they are or how scary they look, in 99% of the cases, everyone's super nice. And that's because they all started from some kind of insecurity, whether they were too skinny or too fat, or they didn't feel good enough after a failure. Now they all know the struggle and they all know the reasons why people get in the gym in the first place. That's why they're so kind and understanding, especially with the beginners. Alright, and finally, insecurity is a gift of confidence. Except it's a little bit delayed. If this sounds confusing, let me walk you through the whole thing. What is confidence in simple terms and how can you get it? Well, in my opinion, confidence is trusting yourself that you can handle specific situations, and you get it from consistently proving yourself that you're able to do something now which you couldn't do in the past. Okay, and how does insecurity help here? Like we've seen in the first point, it gives you a whole bunch of motivation to step up, solve the issue and improve. Or in better words, it forces you to do something about it and fix the situation. That is, if you want to escape the struggle. And that right there is the proof we were talking about. It's one more piece to the confidence puzzle. Look at it from this angle. Not being insecure means not having to deal with so many issues, and so not having the opportunity to overcome them and build that confidence. It's like going on a long road trip. When would you feel safer and more confident in case something went wrong? When you're used to diagnosing car problems and you have experience fixing them? Or when you've never had any problem with it? Yeah, being insecure and working, fighting to get over it is not easy. But neither is the way to true confidence. Because there's a big difference between that and the ignorance of some people who see everything as easy. Like, oh, I could do that in an hour, that's no problem. Typically, these people only see the tip of the iceberg. And as soon as something goes wrong, as soon as they're faced with a real problem, their confidence is gone. Remember, no good thing comes without effort or struggle. And there's a great quote I've seen on the internet to support this. It says, "I asked for strength and God gave me difficulties to make me strong. I asked for wisdom and God gave me problems to solve. I asked for courage and God gave me dangers to overcome. My prayers were answered." And now, for the sake of this video, I would add, I asked for motivation, kindness and confidence, and God gave me insecurity. It truly is a gift, and sooner or later you'll be able to appreciate it fully. If you enjoyed the content, I'd be forever grateful if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it motivates me to keep going. Thanks for staying until the end, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye bye!